It's Saturday, and we are starting with season 2 of the Behind the Scenes series. Hopefully, this is going to be bigger and better. We should probably be a little bit more positive. It is going to be bigger, and it is going to be better, and you're going to love it. We have a problem, and I intend to start solving it this week. Now, let me tell you what that is. We just had some lunch, and now we are going to get some Saturday work done. The problem that we have is that I'm not always the best planner. Sometimes we wing it a little too hard. It's worked out for the most part, but it is time to get that in check. One of those ways that I'm going to start doing that is through working my way up to daily running, but for now, getting back into running. It's been going great. Mentally, I feel awesome. Physically, it is not so great. I don't know why I stopped running, but we're getting there. Also, this week, we need to clean up the desk because it is crazy. And then also the back wall, we need to get that cleaned up. And I really want to start posting the HQ update. We have some windows coming Thursday, and then the rest of the trim can go on. That can be patched and then final paint. And then other than like decorating, like I want to put some stuff on this wall, possibly in front of me, the office will be done for now. I do need to move some stuff in. That's also what I've been delaying doing. So, planning problem. We need to get better at planning for business and then also personal. It's not going to obviously be solved this week, but we're going to work on it. So part of that is for this Saturday work session. We're going to get a little bit of planning started to try to get some goals and things for the week. And then we're also going to try to work on a few outstanding projects to get them over the hump. Let's get to it. You might not know what that is, but it is 236 gigabytes of data moving off of my PC onto the external hard drive. I really hate storage issues. That is another thing that I'm working on with this whole planning, is moving storage, for example, like from my camera, from the SD card to the external, or to kind of get it off there so I can, one, keep it organized, and then two, not have storage issues. Well, for certain things, I've been using CapCut with some help for editing. And I have I have a storage issue now on my computer because of CapCut Desktop. For some reason, keeps everything saved on file. So somehow this has racked up 236 gigs of data. So I think I changed the settings, and I'm trying to move this whole folder to kind of see what I need and what I don't need onto my external, which I also don't love doing that, but it beats having it on my computer because I am now constantly running into storage issues. So we'll see what happens. And we already had a problem transferring some of this, so we'll see. That was a productive Saturday work session. I don't know if I'm going to do a little bit more tonight just to keep the momentum going. I think I'm going to take a break here, hang out with the family. I think we're going to do dinner, like go out somewhere. Ellie keeps asking about it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I've been running and it's doing what I thought it would, of like kind of grounding me and using that energy, and also setting the tone for discipline, and doing hard things and just like pushing through. I don't know if it's, my wonderful wife giving me the space and the time to catch up on work when I don't have appointments on the weekend. Maybe it's a little bit of both, so shout out to her. But this was great. This was a great work block. I feel like I've been missing this, so we're off to a good start with this season 2 of the Behind the Scenes. We are back with another morning of fun. We dropped off the kids at school and dropped off Barry. We have some changes this week with childcare. It is my brother-in-law's wedding this weekend. We had a meeting this morning at Ghost for some kind of partnership / help for the car show and for the Real Estate Shark business. Tell you more about that later. Now we're back in HQ. Need to get some work done and then figure out what this evening brings. We also have some stuff to get finished up here. We have some windows coming Thursday. But first, we gotta shave this off. It is Tuesday morning. We just dropped off the girls at school. We got Bear to take to the in-laws house, but first we need to stop at Realty Executives because we need to pick up a check that needs to go to the title company for a closing this week. So hopefully that is ready. If not, Barry and I will have to wait. If the other option is I'm gonna have to go back later to get it and then drop it off at the title company later. I'm hoping to drop it off at my attorney's office, which is a little bit more convenient. So we shall see. Off to Realty Executives we go. We had a brief change of plans. We were not able to get the check this morning from the office. We're just gonna have them wire it to the title company. We did get a chance to see Jason and Christine and Megan at the office. Bear said hi, and Christine was nice and gave Bear a little gift, so he was a happy boy. Now we're gonna make a little bit of food. We have to get a couple things done on the computer, and then we need to head to Burbank. That is a new construction home that we are going to be doing a walkthrough on. This meeting with the builder is where they go through the house, show them everything, go over procedures, warranty stuff, claims. You know, I believe in this case, this was a spec home, but they should still be able to put some markings on things that they like corrected, or have the builder kind of go over what hasn't been completed yet. But let's rewind and how we got to sitting in the car. So we went to Burbank to pick up a suit for my brother-in-law's wedding this weekend, which is Sunday. So we had to make sure the alterations were good and then pick up our suit. And then we drove to Algonquin. I stopped at Starbucks, not my favorite coffee shop. We got a nitro cold brew. Didn't make sense to go to the office, so we went to the Starbucks for a little bit, but then I am now sitting in front of the house a little bit early because we had 2 phone calls to make. Our Hyde Park condo for sale looks like we are going to be canceling that contract. The buyer sent a letter. I am trying to figure out what happened. The agent did not give me a heads up. The attorney did not get a heads up. So we are both trying to figure out what happened. That building has some issues with the HOA that the buyer fully knew going into it, and that is kind of the reason they're canceling. So I'm a little shocked because it wasn't like we hid something or we didn't know. They were aware that there was some maintenance issues with the building that were taking place. Sorry, got a text. Anyway, so we need to figure that out. This is probably the 4th contract that I've had on this unit. I'm just devastated for the sellers. They have some, plans, and part of that is getting rid of this unit. So there's that. We also had to make a phone call to another buyer that we have for a property in Homer Glen. They didn't answer, so hopefully they'll call me back. And now we are going to get some work done in the car just because I didn't want to do these phone calls at Starbucks. Boom, look at that sweet van. So we're going to use our hotspot and get a few things done in the van. One of those now probably is not going to be solved today, but one of the things that I'm going to have to adjust now is re-getting my Google business page verified. Everything was fine, and now Apparently it's not. So that is the joys of business activities. Serves no great good for clients per se, but I also need it to be active and verified. So we need to do that at some point this week. It is now Wednesday morning. We are headed to a doctor's appointment for some myofunctional therapy. Not sure if you know what that is, but I am working on better using my mouth, my tongue, my swallowing, my breathing. I have hopefully the last piece of my breathing and quality of life situation coming up in June. I'm going to have a tongue tie release. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that. All three of my kids have had tongue tie issues and releases, and now I am going to be doing that. So I think I'm going to have to do like a breakdown of my airway breathing and just quality of life journey here. But anyway, we are headed to a doctor's appointment, and then going to get a little bit of work done. Then we have to pick Barry up half day, and then it's going to be Dad's afternoon. We have to pick up the girls, and then we have to also, which I think I'm going to do with Bear once I pick him up, we need to go to Schillings to pick up a little bit more casing or trim for the bathroom and my office. We have windows coming tomorrow. I'm not sure how much I could film of that, but I'm excited about that. That will put us one step closer to the office being done. We then will have a little bit of trim to hang up, and then final patches and paints for the trim, and then the office should be done minus, I think I said, decorations or artwork or things like that. And then bathroom, once the windows are in, we can focus on painting and then tile work and then all the finishing that goes from there. Hopefully by beginning of July we'll have a functioning master bath. So that's where we're at for the day. What a last 2 days this has been. I think I alluded to some troubles in the real estate space the last 2 days. I just picked up Barry, and now we are headed to Schillings to pick up some casing. And then back home, I don't know if we're gonna make a nap before we gotta pick up the girls, so we shall see how this goes. We have a closing today, and these guys are doing a post-closing possession, or like a rent back, if you are familiar with that. If not, what that means is the seller is selling the house, but they're staying in the property, so now the buyer technically owns it, and the seller has some options on how this works depending on negotiating and things like that, but the seller basically then rents the house back to the buyer for a certain period of time in order to help facilitate their next steps. So we are doing something like that. So now we are working through what those sellers' next steps are. We have them figured out. However, there may be a slight delay. So stress levels are high across the board, and we are trying to keep all of these trains on the tracks. So let's get some trim. It is Saturday afternoon. We have some showings, and this is the first time that Google Maps has messed up this bad in a while. It took me a couple blocks away from where I need to be, so hopefully I am finding it right now. I shall keep you posted as I approach. It showed me that I was at the right address, but oh, I think I see it. So this was the first time that Google Maps was several blocks off. I mean, like, not even close. Sorry, that was a little scattered. I was pulling up to the house and my clients were there because, of course, Google Maps took me blocks away. First showing is done quick, so now we are going to be a little bit early for the next one. Hopefully we can get in early, which it just then kind of throws off the rest of the day. But that house was not what we were expecting. We were in and out of that pretty quick. Pictures made it look like it was in better condition, and the layout was just really weird. I thought it was kind of an immediate no, but it sounds like they may want to think about that one, so we'll see what happens. I still personally think it's going to be a no, but we shall see. Maybe we can get it down for a better deal. We are headed to one more, and then I have a second client to meet in, so we did New Lenox, now we're going to Mokina, and then I have a second client in Orland Park. And then these guys asked to, a little bit earlier, they asked to add one more on. I was not able to move around the second guy, so then I am going to meet them back for a third showing a little bit later today. And then we have my brother-in-law's wedding tomorrow. Sam and I are spending the night at a hotel. So I think what we're going to do is, after my appointments, drive out to the hotel, drop off my car, and then go home, and then this way we'll have a car at the hotel because my mom's taking the kids home in the van. So that is, I believe, what is going to be the day. So let's go knock out these 3 showings. That is our next house over there. You can't see it. I think this one is going to be a pretty high traffic property. They just listed it today. It's in Orland Park. It, from the photos, looks pretty nice and move-in ready. They did an open house. There's somebody here now, and then we are showing it at 3. I'm just early. I apparently did not time out my previous clients well enough. But in all honesty, my client is just getting out of work himself and just texted me that he might be a couple minutes late. So at the end, it all worked out. I was thinking about getting a coffee, but I scrapped that idea. Trying to save for that 9/11, you know what I mean? This day has been a little wild. We were almost going to do, so the clients I was just with, we added one more on earlier in the day. After this, I'm going to go meet them up once this is done. So we'll see if I'm going to be early for that or not. I did get the vibe that they liked the second house I showed them. We'll see if they like it enough to put something together. We shall see. I will keep you posted on that. That's where we're at. I'll keep you posted. It's Monday. It's Memorial Day. I just want to say thank you to everybody, all the men and women that have gave their lives and made the ultimate sacrifice so that we are able to enjoy our freedoms here. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I pray for those people who've lost their lives and their families. Now let's get into it. We had my brother-in-law's wedding yesterday, which was fun and stressful all at the same time. I have been in a lot of weddings. It is nothing like having your kids in the wedding and also just there. Until my mom took them home for the night, I feel like you're constantly on guard. It's, like I said, it's great to have them there, but it's also extremely stressful. We spent the night in the hotel. We were supposed to do breakfast with everybody. That didn't really work out. So we came home. Sam's taking a nap. I need to do a little bit of work because it does not stop, even though I would like to just chill today. We needed to update an offer we submitted from the showing that we had Saturday. We submitted an offer. Turned out they had multiple offers. We were hoping that we came out the gate pretty strong, hoping they would just take it. They didn't. They called for highest and best. I feel pretty good. We wrote a kind of crazy offer. So we needed to update that. Deadline is 1 p.m. so soon. And then I am meeting with a potential new client to possibly list 2 condos in the city and then maybe an investment property in the burbs. So we shall see. So I'm just doing a little bit of prep work right now. I ran some numbers. I am going to think with a winning mindset, and I just printed some listing paperwork in the event the meeting goes great. So we should have that. And then I'm still trying to get photos booked for a property in Romeoville for Friday. So we shall see. It's now Tuesday morning. We did our run this morning. I'm watching the next behind the scenes series video to see if there's any changes that need to be made. And then we got to get ready for the day. Yesterday, to give you an update for our meeting, it did go well, and we're going to have 2 condos in the city coming up for sale. So stay tuned for more on that. Did you see that fresh new window? I love it. It is Wednesday, and we have a new build closing today. We dropped the kids off. Ellie is in school for the next couple days. Emery was done Friday. So kids are all dropped off. We are back in HQ. Got to get ready shortly. Got to get a few things done before we head out to Algonquin for the final walkthrough. And then I think we're going to have a little bit of time to kill before the closing, which is in a different location. And that will be in Schaumburg, which is slightly closer to home. We need to figure out a photo shoot date for the 2 condos in the city, having a little bit of trouble locking down a photographer on short notice. So I do have a potential solution of putting this in the private network until we get photos. I am going to reach out to the owner to see if that is acceptable. Went on a morning run this morning. I don't know why I said that. Went on a run this morning. It was a little wet and a little bit rainy, but we got it done. Felt good. Really loving the mental clarity out of all this. So let's get cooking, and I will check in shortly. This is going to be a close one. We are on our way to the property in Algonquin to do a final walkthrough, and then we have closing at 3 o'clock. And then it sounds like Sam's got an appointment this evening, so I need to pick up the kids after the closing. And then I think we're going to do a little bit of work this evening. And there we are. So let's try to make up some road safely. Let's try to make up some time safely on the way to Algonquin. Then we're going to throw on our audiobook from Cam Haynes and just sharpen the mind. All right, talk to you soon. So unexpected reroute. Apparently a semi-truck exploded on 355. So I had rerouted through Downers area and then ended up hitting traffic on Lamont Road going through Lamont because of that bridge and I believe the bottleneck. And while I was in Lamont, I figured I might as well stop at the office. I had to pick up a check. But now we are headed to Mokina to pick up the kids from my in-laws. So we are going to be like 30 minutes behind. We'll figure it out. It's 9:34. We needed to send out the 2 listing agreements for the Chicago condos that I was telling you about. We were able to get photos set up for tomorrow morning. So I have the drone charging. right over there because our photographer is great, but he does not do drone or video. So I actually, now that I look at this, I need to charge this camera as well. But I need to update the batteries in this lockbox just to make sure there's no issues. And then I also probably need to print something out for my information on here. So I thought I was going to be done in the next like 5 minutes, and I don't think that's the case. I'm tired. So let's get to it. And of course, the screwdriver that I have on my desk doesn't work, so now we need to go get a better screwdriver. I don't feel like going to the garage. Hopefully this works. So far, so good. Put this back together. Perfecto. Now we need to apparently reset the clock on this thing. Let's see if we can do it from the app. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to call the company tomorrow. And it's probably easy, but I'd rather not call them. To be honest, I am not 100% if that worked or not. I'm gonna try to check the settings maybe on the website. Otherwise, I think I might call them just to be safe. And I think I found it. So I think we're good. Now we're just going to try and print a fake business card so that people in the city know this is my lockbox, because city agents don't always know how to use these boxes. So that's fun. Okay, let's do that, and then we're calling it a night. What a day it's been, or 2 days, I guess, since yesterday was the new build final walkthrough and then closing, which was all the way up in Algonquin, and then Schaumburg. We were gone most of the day. So when I started this, I told you one of the things I'm working on in my life and business is preparing a little bit more, or planning. I did plan some meals. I probably could have done a touch more, but we were okay. Today I have not learned my lesson. We met our good buddy Michael for a men's fraternity meeting. I don't know why it's called that. Well, I guess I do, but anyway, we had a meeting this morning with some guys, and it was really great. I definitely needed that. It kind of stinks to drive. It's all the way in Hinsdale, so it's a pretty decent round trip. So had that, rushed home. I knew I had a photo shoot in the city for these 2 condos. so I did not eat. And then this morning before I left, I normally will have a snack or coffee, but I just wasn't feeling it. I probably should have pushed through and had some food, but I don't know, didn't feel like having coffee or food before. And then got home, had to rush to get Ellie to school and then drop the kids off. And then I went straight to the city for the photo shoot. So by the time I got home, I was cooked. Was a little hangry, but we ate, and now we've been in HQ. We had to move a doctor's appointment from this morning to this afternoon. So I need to leave in, 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less, 25 minutes to go to that. And then girls have dance, which Sam is unfortunately going to have to probably handle herself because I have a 6:15 showing. And then I really want to get a lift session in this evening. And then I will tell you about another, I don't want to say poor planning, but some miscommunication and things could have been better about tomorrow. So I'm going to tell you about that later, but I'm going to tell you about how we are not still doing the best at planning, and I'm going to take accountability for that. I'm not going to put that on management. So let's get to it. Good morning and happy Friday. We have a emotional day today. Ellie, my oldest, is graduating kindergarten, or as they call it in the Montessori, it's a move-up ceremony. So she'll be in what would be first grade next year. So we are at the office early, and then Sam is going to pick me up with the other two kids, and we are going to go to this move-up ceremony and then probably brunch with the grandparents and then back to the office to work on. We need to finalize 2 listings for hopefully tomorrow morning, and then get a little bit of other type of work done. Some stuff for clients, follow up, some prep work, a couple of video projects got to get wrapped up, and that's that. We also need to do a final walkthrough for that Manhattan house. The sellers did a post-closing possession, meaning they stayed in the property and rented it back from the owner. So we need to do a final walkthrough on that so that the remainder of the holdback money will be released back to the seller. So hopefully get that done today. And then we have a jam-packed weekend. I'm going to tell you from yesterday why I sometimes don't love planning, because life sometimes just comes in the way. I planned on working out last night, and after my 6:15 showing, they wanted to go back to show their daughter one other one. So we tried to do it right after because it was a vacant property. But then the agent calls me. Apparently they had issues with the lockbox and agents not locking doors and leaving lights on. So the seller asked for the box to be taken off. So then we had to come back at like 7:45 at night because they had somebody else looking at it. And then I needed to pick up the key for this final walkthrough because the agent was at like 6:40, was like, oh, I can be there at 7:15. I'm like, dude, that's 20-minute notice and I am not home. So that didn't work out. So I wanted to get the key last night in the event he reaches out again last minute to do this walkthrough, because this weekend's jam-packed. So I really want to knock this out today. Plus, I want to get the seller their holdback money as soon as possible. So that's where we're at. Let's get to work, and I will keep you posted. Happy Saturday, people. What do we do? We were just at the office for a little bit of a Saturday afternoon work session. This morning, my sister's children my goddaughter and Sam's goddaughter had a dance recital, so we went as a family. And then she was taking Bear home to nap with the girls, and I stayed back at the office. And then my goddaughter has a second recital, so I am headed back to Lamont High School now. What a blast from the past to be back at my old school. But so I got a little bit of work done. I have those two city condo listings. I was hoping to list this morning, but I didn't have the photos, so that was delayed. I'm hoping I can still get that listed today. If not, hopefully tomorrow morning before I go to Cars and Coffee. This time just went way too fast in between both recitals, so I don't know what the plan is after. I don't know if we're gonna hang out with my sister and her family, or if I am just gonna head back home, and then hopefully I'll have the photos back and we can get that listed today still. So I will keep you posted, and I'm thinking this episode is going to be coming to an end. We shall see. See? That's really kind. You're welcome. It's Monday morning. We got our run in this morning, did a little over 2 miles. We're slowly starting to increase the mileage. I have a goal at the end of the year to run a half marathon. I'm not entering a race. I'm just going to do my own thing. Anyway, yesterday was a kind of a busy day. I don't think I did 1 ounce of filming for Behind the Scenes series. We had Cars and Coffee in the morning. Then we had the 2 Chicago condos that we were working on needed to go live. So I brought my computer with me, and after Cars and Coffee, I set a ghost and put those 2 live. I had everything done. They just needed to be live, and then set the showing stuff, the showing rules and system for that. And then we had a showing in Tinley Park, so we did that. Unfortunately, it looked better in the pictures, kind of a waste, but that happens. And then came home, changed, and then we had a party for Sam's cousin Blake in Lamont, and then came home, relaxed a little bit with Sam, and then went to bed early, and now here we are. So I think we're going to wrap this episode up here. I am trying to do something a little better with the Behind the Scenes series, so we'll see how this one goes, and I'll kind of keep tweaking on this, season 2 adventure. The main goal was to get better at planning. Now, I'll be honest, did I succeed? No, but also, am I going to figure that out in 1 episode? Probably not. Did I get a little better at planning? We'll see what management has to say about that. I feel like I started this episode off really strong on the planning, and then we crashed and burned, I feel, if I'm being honest. So stay tuned to see if we figure out this whole planning game or not. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and share and comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. And I plan on just to keep pumping these out. More so for me, but hopefully a little bit for you too. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.